and I'd like to welcome everyone back to part 4, possibly the final part, of the Albrecht's Aether Ray build primer, swath of builds, torrent of builds I've been doing today for the Arcanist. And this video is going to be about the Warlock. The Warlock is what you get when you cross the Arcanist with the Occultist. On the Arcanist side of things, I've almost, but not quite, maintained 26 on the beam. We're at 25, which is, pretty good. I mean, it's not 26, but it's still 25. Oh ho! I have put 1 point into Tainted Power, and we're going to be giving the Chaos version of the beam a try. I also kept Disintegration at its fullest, and that's because I equipped some gear that has some vitality damage bonuses, but I had intended to go into getting Wasting and Sigil of Consumption to have this deal a lot of vitality damage as a build, but it wasn't working out very well, and it traded off too many of the defenses I had for some sort of crappy add-on dots, and it was like, this is not working out. So I'm doing a different Warlock build than I intended, and I'll get to the differences in a second. But for first, my 1-pointers are Iskander's Elemental Exchange with Overload. I dropped Elemental Balance because I don't think there's anything that really burns in this build. 1 point in the Mirror, 1 point in the Sphere, 1 point in Conversion, 1 point in Calidor's Tempest, 1 point in Inferno, and actually, I think I can remove that ability, now that I really think about it, because I'm not doing Aether focused. But we're actually, no, I'm gonna keep it at 1 just because it's a handy clearing out thing. So we'll just keep that there for now, but it could be first on the chopping block if I needed 2 more points. I have 1 point in Electra's Flash Freeze for its defensive abilities. Inner Focus is at 8. Arcane Will has 1 point. Mental Alacrity is at 4. Wait, 4? Because we're at plus 3. Yeah, it would be at 4. And Fabric of Reality is at 8. Under the Occultist, I put a bunch of points. We're at plus 2, so 5 points into Soleil's Witchfire to add in some flat chaos damage to all my attacks. And I went with Consecrated Blade because I'm using a melee weapon, and I'm hoping that the chaos and vitality damage are just flatly applied to my weapon. And I think that might be it, instead of applied to this. But anyways, we're going to give that a go, because I do have a melee weapon, so I'm hoping that's 25% more damage on those 2 damage types, with the offensive ability thrown in on top. I have 1 point in Curse of Frailty, and 1 point in Vulnerability, and this would probably be the first thing I'd consider raising up, because Vulnerability can get a lot of bonus damage in, and be a great defensive ability for you. But this is going to just add in about 30% more damage on the beam. The fire side of the beam, that is. I have 1 point in Summon Familiar, Mend Flesh, and Storm Spirit. Storm Spirit because the elemental damage is going to help out my... It's gonna help out the fire side of the beam. Mend Flesh for a little heal. And the Familiar itself is going to just be a handy little pet to float next to me and dish out some attacks, even though I'm not using lightning that much at all. I am an Arcanist, so lightning does apply. I don't exactly know how the bonuses from your fire and lightning affect your pets. I've always assumed that your percent fire applies to their abilities, or his abilities, and then percent lightning applies to his. I could be wrong on that, but I'm assuming that's the case. And correct me if I'm wrong. Anyone out there who knows a little bit more about how the pets in this game work. But yeah, I've also got Summon Hellhound at 7 and Ember Claw at 4. Everything has these weird numbers because I had to spread the points out quite a bit to get this working. For gear changes, I'm using the Blackwood Wand and the Spirit Weaver Circlet because of the +1 basically to all skills on this build. It's a great 2-piece combination to get things really, really built up. I do have a lot of Aether gear still floating around because I just don't have a lot of Chaos gear, and this may really affect the beam's damage, but this is more of like a let's test it out type of thing. And I would also point out that instead of Aether Fire, the prefix would be Void Fire. And I don't know if there is an FX for fire in Chaos. But anyways, I switched in the Heretic's Tome, because although it does not have casting speed, it is Chaos and Fire together, and it has that crit damage thrown in, and I can still crit pretty okay with my current offensive ability. The gloves, I switched in the Spellbinder's Grip, and really they should have an Unholy Inscription on them, but I'm just going to keep the Spellwoven Threads for now, because that's just what's on there. The chest piece, I have a Rhymefrost Gilded Vestment of the Harbinger. I don't really care about the Rhymefrost part, I care about the Harbinger part, because that's just a lot of chaos damage thrown in there. My boots are the Rifthound leather boots to help my pets. My belt is the Chthonian thread sash because it's a vitality and chaos belt. I'm still using this as my medal, though the one that gives a bonus to Bloody Pox might be worth it. And my other two alternatives I may or may not try are the Black Grimoire of Agna Pesh, because it gives me another pet, and the Acolyte's Coil because it helps build up my pet's abilities. Also, I will point out, this is not a pet-centric build. This is still centered around my abilities as a character. And we're going to be doing Broken Hills again, to go to the Steps of Torment again, because this is another one of those, oh, I got to test it out builds. So we're going to go to some place that's a little easier for me to deal with, and I'll see you guys in there. Okay, I will note one quick respec I did. I had a point in Devastation, which is obviously not as good a thing, and I just switched it over to Fabric of Reality to give myself that tiny bit extra chaos damage. Now, in running over here, I did note that the thing I was suspecting would be the case was the case, and that is the beam is about 1/3 as strong as it should be. Only because I don't have the chaos damage built up for it. So going in here, we're going to be doing this, and it's going to be essentially the weakest of the three builds, but that's my fault, because I don't actually have enough chaos damage to really make this shine. But you'll see that despite it being slower, you're still going to see like 5,000 crit. In addition, stop lagging, Grim Dawn, jeez. In addition to having a few other tricks up the build sleeve, specifically pets that'll help, and also having, why is the game being all jerky now? It's like, come on, I'm trying to record and be professional here. Nobody laugh at that remark. It has a lot of other tricks up its sleeve that I think do make this a potentially legitimate build going forward, even if I'm kind of making a hash of its numbers due to my lack of very refined chaos gear, because it really is, compared to the amount of Aether gear I have, I really don't have a lot of chaos gear, which makes the chaos beam kind of weaker in my Arcanist numbers. It's going to be weaker, but we will prevail because we're still doing pretty good. Because we still have like the self heal, or yeah, the self heal from the Raven is going to keep our health up. Our Hellhound with his Ember Claw is going to be another source of damage. It's not like it's complete and total crap fest. It's just, if I were better, oh man, if I were just better geared, this would be going a lot faster and I'd be dealing, a lot more damage. But this is not like anything super pitiful or super bad. We're actually still doing quite well, given that we're not min-max geared. Also because of the extra spirit from the extra spirit provided by the Occultist Mastery, we're actually a little we've got a little more energy to feed to the beam. And I mean, I have to hold it longer, and this is sort of the problem right now, and why the energy is draining so fast, is because I have to actually sit here and channel. with the my pure Aether setup, only because of I had to keep reiterating that it is strictly because of my gear. It's strictly because my gear with Chaos is not as good as it is with Aether that we're getting these sort of weaknesses in this present build. This is more what the beam felt like before all of the changes. Yeah, our Hellhound is doing okay. He's at about 1,000. I'm seeing like 900s pop off of him. So he's good. He's just not great. Yeah, and if there is one weakness, it's I don't have a good Chaos attack. And I'm actually wondering... Oh, right, because I'm an idiot. I didn't put the Chaos... Poopy. I didn't put the Chaos add-on onto my weapon. I'm still using the Wrathstone. Should probably run back to town and do that. I have enough of the... I have enough Riftstones that I could do it. And it would actually... potentially solve a problem I have right now, which is overusing the beam for single targets. So let's go do that. So I won't be as much of a dumbass. Game on. So I did put the Riftstone in my weapon. It did give us Chaos Strike, and I'm gonna attempt to use it here. I think we actually got we actually got a good chunk of damage from this too. We got about 1,000. No, I don't actually think it went up that much. So that's our pets can take out the easier guys pretty quickly. The one thing I will say is lacking in this is there's no giant AoE attack. There's no devastation, which would be super helpful right now, actually. I will try to Chaos Strike something. Oh, that's pretty awesome. Wait, is that? Okay, yeah, Void Fire Nova is... When you see purple things shoot off me, that's Void Fire Nova. I'm used to getting a giant horde of things on me right there. Oh, here's... And for anyone that's actually watched me and Cavo play through this game, I don't feel right calling a Hellhound I'm using Frederick. It really is Cavo's Hellhound. This would be like where I'd absolutely love to use Devastation. So it would really, really, just... I was waiting for it. I heard it and I was like, come on, Shadow Strike, come on, Shadow Strike. Because it would just absolutely clear the room out. And Doombolt, like, aside from the fact that I would never be able to get to it with the current number of points in the game and this build, Doombolt does not hit AoE enough for me to really justify it as the quote-unquote AoE ability I'd have access to. Oops. Witch Stalker, already learned. Depths Greaves, already learned. I don't even need to look at it. Oh god, this room. Just nothing but Deathbolt archers. So, my bird is doing pretty good at keeping me alive. That's a definite advantage of having the bird with its mend flesh ability. Glad I actually put a point in that. And my verdict on the Warlock, I actually do think this is a legitimate beam variation. I just don't have the like I keep mentioning, because I have to keep making this excuse, I don't have Chaos Gear, really. And what I do have is very limited. It's just I don't want to make it seem like this is a terrible build to be using, because it's actually really not. It's just it's a much more different way of doing this. That I think is, if it had 10 more levels, this would be a massively powerful build. I'm serious. I think it would only seriously take about 10 levels to make this really, really fantastic. Yeah, can't use Calidor's Tempest like that anymore. That's I think is the one lacking thing is no big AoE attack. And a beam is absurdly expensive. So it's like, I do have good regen and stuff, but I'm super drinking those energy potions. So I do think that keeping an Aether focus on this would actually not be a bad option. Because you're still Aether Fire if you're going to stick Aether Fire. And I think it wouldn't actually be that bad a choice to go with in this particular setup. Yeah, here's going to be a real test if I can take him down quick enough. Yeah, I did. Now here's another thing. I would normally be able to shred these things apart with Calidor's Tempest, but here we'll do this is the Calidor's Tempest test. It takes so much longer to kill things with it. But we did it. We got to Zarthazelin and we took him down. That is a new weapon. Anyways, that was the Warlock. The fourth and final video for this Aether Ray Compendium. I hope you enjoyed these videos, everyone. I really enjoyed making them, and I'm probably going to switch to the Sorcerer, in all honesty, as the final Aether Ray build I do. I love being a pure Arcanist, but, I mean, sometimes you just gotta bite the bullet and do an upgrade. So, thanks for watching, everyone. I'll see you guys next time for more Grim Dawn or PoE or whatever I have to post that's left in what I'm doing. So, yeah, thanks for watching again, and I'll see you then.